What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time for the new Paul Thomas Anderson film, Phantom Thread. Phantom Thread is written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson of There Will Be Blood fame, stars Daniel Day-Lewis and Vicky Krieps. It tells the story of a world-renowned dressmaker in 1950s London who is very particular about the way he lives his life, but when he meets this young, strong-willed woman that he eventually starts a romantic relationship with, everything in his life begins to change. Now, with a film like this, the most blatantly obvious positive of it is the performances in the film, because the movie is based around these performances. Daniel Day-Lewis has said that this will be his final film. He officially announced that last year, that this is it. This is his official retirement. He made this movie, he will never watch this movie, and it is his final film that he will ever make. Now, his performance stands out for that reason a little bit more than normal. I don't think this is his greatest performance. I think that will always be Lincoln, but he gives a phenomenal performance in this film. He's truly great. He outshines everyone else in the movie with this extremely brooding and sad, but extremely genius performance of this character. Now, that's not to say that the supporting cast or even the other lead does a bad job. Vicky Krieps, who plays his love interest in the film, is also very good. She gives a very solid performance as this strong-willed young woman who's sort of going against this older man who has lived his life in this particular way forever, and she is now trying to change that. And Leslie Manville, who plays Daniel Day-Lewis's character's sister, also gives a very strong performance as this person that is almost fed into the lifestyle that his character has lived and never tried to change it. And they both had a very interesting dichotomy between the two women in the film that had the most important roles, because they had such different views of the way that Daniel Day-Lewis's character should be living. Now, while I do have some issues with the script of this film and the story that it tells, I do have to say that the similarities between the character that Daniel Day-Lewis is playing and Daniel Day-Lewis in real life were very striking, and I think that it's part of the reason that his performance is so good in this film, because the character he plays is absolutely fully entrenched in this life that he is in, where he makes these beautiful clothes for these women and these men, and they adore him and they think that he makes these beautiful things, but in reality it takes a little bit away from him every single time he has to make one. And I think that that can be attributed to the way Day-Lewis tackles his acting. He is one of the most method actors in the history of acting. He does everything to a T to fully immerse himself in whatever role he is taking. Now, the relationship between Day-Lewis's character and Vicky Krieps' character was also very interesting. It takes a different look at the way a relationship can work, and not necessarily in a healthy way, and I thought that that was a really great plot point for this film to have, because it adds a little bit of spice to what is otherwise a somewhat bland film in the way that the story goes. Now, the film has great sets, a great setting, and a really solid score, but along with that is Paul Thomas Anderson's direction that I think was actually really good in this film, while I don't think it's as good as he has been in previous films that he has made. The direction is very fitting to the story being told. His direction feels very deliberate. Every single cut, every single pan, every change in angle feels like it's there with the deliberate purpose of showing what it is showing, and I think that it attributes to the character the film is about. Daniel Day-Lewis's character is this very deliberate, hard-headed man who has the way that he wants things to look and be, and I think that that's the way this film is directed. It's rather stiff in some sequences and a little looser in others, and it's there to showcase this mindset of the lead character. Now, while this film does have some interesting story points and some really good performances, the script itself to me moves at an extremely slow pace, and really an unnecessarily slow pace. The movie just doesn't have enough actual things happening. A lot of this film is watching people live their day-to-day lives that we are supposed to necessarily find interesting, even though we haven't been given a reason to find it interesting. We just watch events, and then maybe the fallout of those events gives us some sort of interesting sequence that has drama and some crazy stuff in it. This film almost feels like a tuned up dramatically Americans' take on Italian neorealism, which is very bland, not trained actors, very slow paced, with not a lot of stuff going on type of filmmaking. And while it works sometimes, in this film it felt like with the characters that were in it, there should have been more. There should have been more energy, more passion in this script and the story being told. And then also, there's not a lot of character development. While characters' relationships change, the characters themselves don't, which is a very big point. Because I think a lot of people could watch this film and think, wow, those characters changed a lot. But in reality of this script, they don't change. It's just the way that they are towards other people and the relationship between those two people change. It's not the person changing who they are, just the way they look at someone else. And I realize that that could be perceived as the same thing. But when you watch the film, you'll notice that it's not. They're still that person, it's just in relation to a different person, they may act slightly differently. This film is very odd to me because it has really great performances, but an extremely slow story, and it sort of just fell into that stereotypical Oscar film. It's this really slow period piece drama that's full of great performances, but as an actual film, it's really not that enjoyable to watch. I'm gonna give Phantom Thread a B-. This is an extremely well-made movie. I just didn't really feel any attachment to any of the characters because the script never gave me a reason to. I was just watching them live out their lives. Now, with that said, it is full of great performances, so if you are an Oscar fan or someone who likes to watch all of the award movies, definitely go check it out. It's worth a watch once, but this is not a movie that I have any interest in ever seeing again. As always, guys, my name's Eric. If you enjoyed this review, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Phantom Thread, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and hope to see you guys later.